I'm Jordan Hatfield. This is Faster Film Critic. Today on the show, we talk Frankenstein with Kolter and Chase Fugel. Frankenstein is a 2025 dark fantasy horror film directed by Guillermo del Toro, starring Oscar Isaac, Jacob Elordi, and Christoph Waltz. Like one on that lonesome road doth walk in fear and dread, and having once turned round walks on, and turns no more his head, because he knows a frightful fiend doth close behind him tread. Get in! We're going cinephilin'! Frankenstein. You guys ready?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You guys Del Toro fans? You guys like Guillermo del Toro?
If you're not, there's something wrong with your brain.
That's fair. He's a weird guy, though.
Yeah.
Is there something wrong with your brain, Chase? Or you...
Yeah, but I think that's what makes me like him.
Okay, okay.
Good save.
What's your favorite Del Toro film?
That's a good question. Which one's the one where the lady a fish man?
Shape of Water.
It's not that one.
Really?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Pan's Labyrinth.
I mean, Pan's Labyrinth is absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Never seen it.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude, hold on. No, we gotta
Chase.
stop. Time out. We gotta go watch that film right now.
Okay.
You good?
Yep.
Kolter?
Yep.
Let's reconvene in like 2 hours, 2.5 hours?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Never seen Pan's Labyrinth.
Yeah. Well, it's okay.
Is it though?
Is it?
You know what?
Yeah, I've seen the fish porn one, right?
Yeah.
That's all that matters.
Yeah.
Guys, talk all the shit you want to. I love Shape of Water.
No, I actually like it too.
I do. And let me tell you this, Kolter. The first time I saw Shape
Yeah.
of Water, I was like, I don't know about that one.
Yeah.
But the more I thought about it, and then I went back and revisited it, and then I heard Guillermo del Toro talk about it, and it's one of my favorite films of his. I'm not saying it's better than Pan's Labyrinth, but I actually really, really enjoy that film.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right.
Have you only seen it once?
Yes. In fairness, I have only seen it one time.
So there's your problem. It is worth revisiting.
Okay.
It is an adult fairy tale.
It is adult.
Do you know Del Toro's motivation for this film?
I do not.
So when Guillermo was just a little boy, he saw the creature from the Black Lagoon.
Clear influence, sure.
And the creature, as it's chasing this woman, Guillermo del Toro, as a young kid, thought that the creature was in love with the woman. And so when he discovered that he was actually a monster, he was like, no, he felt totally betrayed. He's like, no, that's not what's happening here.
Oh.
And so he's always had this dream of recreating it as a love story.
Oh.
And again, on a second and third watch, I really enjoy that film. It's worth giving a second shot.
Okay.
It is.
All right.
In fact, maybe we ditch Frankenstein conversation and just talk about Shape of Water. You guys okay with that?
Let's talk about some fish sex. Go.
Yeah.
No, Frankenstein. I'm excited to talk about this film.
Yeah.
This has been a passion project for Guillermo del Toro for a really long time.
Yes, it has.
He said his dream was to make a Pinocchio story and a Frankenstein story. That was like the pinnacle of filmmaking for him and his journey as a filmmaker.
Yeah.
And he's accomplished both, and he's accomplished both through Netflix.
Yeah, strangely enough. Yes.
I don't know how I feel about that, to be honest. But a lot of studios
Yeah.
cut him short with these films, and Netflix gave him the freedom to do it. So, as much as I hate streaming,
Yeah.
props to Netflix for giving him the opportunity.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a movie that deserves a wider theatrical release, I think. And the theaters
Yeah.
need the help. Let's be honest. I mean, it's just, they're not doing well, partly because of the emphasis on streaming and the popularity of streaming. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of sad.
This movie's so big, too.
It is. Yeah, it feels
Like,
big.
I swear the camera's always on a crane in a massive room.
Yeah.
Just taking up all the space it can.
Yeah.
Imagine watching it on your iPhone.
This
Oh,
film
no,
should
don't
be
do
seen
that.
in IMAX with Dolby Atmos surround sound.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
So, I take it you guys like Frankenstein.
Very much. Yeah. It's not a perfect movie.
Let's dive in. Tell me your thoughts. I want to hear, Kolter. What'd you think of Frankenstein?
Chase, tell us now. Go.
Jordan, tell us now. Go.
Kolter, tell us now. You're up.
Sure, yeah.
I was surprised. It felt pretty slow to me. Did it feel slow to you guys? Is that only me?
No, my complaints have to do, or my nitpicks rather, I should say, have more to do with character nuance than they do the pace. I thought the pace was pretty decent and fairly close to Mary Shelley's story structure.
Yeah.
Not the story plot, and the characters are quite a bit different, as they have been in just about every filmic iteration of Frankenstein anyway. But yeah, I felt the pace was decent.
I don't know what it was that made it feel so slow to me. Because you're right, it hits every beat of Mary Shelley's book, every main beat.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
a lot. It's a lot of story. A lot more than I think we're getting with most movies now.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I can't pinpoint exactly what it was. Maybe I was just tired.
The runtime's 2 hours and 29 minutes,
Yeah.
and I'm not going to lie, for me, it felt like 2 hours and 59 minutes. When it ended, it felt like a long movie. Interestingly, though, I didn't get bored in the film.
No.
It didn't feel long because I was bored. It just felt long. I don't know that I've ever experienced that in a film where I'm not bored, I'm engaged in the story, I like the movie, and yet it still feels a half an hour longer than its runtime.
Well,
I agree. I had that same experience.
Do you think if you hadn't, or because you hadn't read the book before, you were more interested and less likely to get bored?
Yeah, so I want to talk about that for sure, but I want to hear what Kolter's trying to say.
Yeah, so I think the movie can feel long, and I had a similar experience to you, Jordan. I think because of the emotional weight. You know, it's a little, any movie that kind of pulls on your soul a little bit and kind of pulls you in maybe not such a happy place, it can be a little draining. So I think that can make the movie feel its length, or even a little bit longer than that. So, and it's a heavy story, it's a sad story, so that might have something to do with it.
Well, long or not, people are really enjoying this movie. I want to ask, what are your favorite aspects of this film?
I like the
lab.
Yeah, the set design is like, it's Guillermo's thing, right? Atmosphere and set design and costume and all that stuff is just, he's got such an eye for detail. And not just Gothic horror in particular is his thing, right? But Gothic horror in particular, I think, is really his thing. And that's the thing that pops out on this movie and maybe even sets it apart a little bit from other versions of Frankenstein.
So, Chase, you asked me about my experience with this film being unfamiliar with Mary Shelley's story, and I think this absolutely deserves a conversation.
Yeah.
You both have read Mary Shelley's book, correct?
In fairness, I have not read it, but I am familiar with, in particular, the differences between the story, her book, her story, and pretty much every version of the movie that's out there.
So I'm embarrassed to admit, walking into Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein, I was completely unfamiliar with Mary Shelley's story.
Okay.
Completely.
Did you know that Frankenstein was Victor Frankenstein and not the creature?
Yeah, I did know. I did know that Frankenstein is Victor and it's the monster, and there's a lot of confusion about that amongst young kids, and that's unfortunate. I did know that. But I did expect a Boris Karloff Frankenstein. I expected a flat head and bolts in the neck and a monster.
Yeah.
And so when the story starts on a ship in the Arctic, I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Like, it threw me. And the film was far more romantic than I expected.
Yeah.
I was expecting more of a horror film, and this film has got aspects of horror, but this is not a horror film.
Not particularly, no.
I mean, I wouldn't call it a horror film. Again, there's some things in here that are grotesque and some things in here that are horrific, but largely it is not a horror film. And especially in Del Toro's adaptation, the villain isn't the monster.
No.
In fact, there is a lot of religious, I want to say undertones, but really they're overtones. Del Toro actually calls the monster, literally called the monster, not in the film, but outside of the film, during production, he called the monster Jesus.
That's weird.
Del Toro sees the monster as a Christ-like figure, a symbol of suffering, abandonment, and wounded holiness. We're not dealing with Boris Karloff's Frankenstein here.
Right.
It's not Hollywood Frankenstein.
Yeah.
That threw me.
Yeah, he's definitely more sympathetic than I think most versions of the creature or the monster, whatever we want to call it. I did not get any Jesus vibes. So that's...
I didn't either.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I didn't either, at least in the first watch. But I had an interesting experience because I go in and I watch the film being completely unfamiliar with Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, and I walk away thinking, okay, I need to read the book.
Sure.
If I want to fully appreciate this film, I've got to read the book. And I absolutely agree that if you're familiar with Mary Shelley's story, you will have a greater appreciation for this movie.
I think so. Yeah, it starts in the same way as the book. You're on Captain Walton's ship in the far north, and it's kind of divided into two perspectives. One's Victor Frankenstein's, the other is the creature's, the monster's perspective. The ending is closely enough. The characters, what happens to them, their relation to one another is pretty wildly different in the movie versus Mary Shelley's novel.
Yeah. So what do? I leave the film and I immediately pick up the book and I read it.
Okay.
So now I have an understanding of the source material. And so then I go back and I rewatch Del Toro's Frankenstein. And in that context, my experience was totally different.
Okay.
Walking out of the film the first time, I feel like I underappreciated the film because I was unfamiliar with the source material.
Okay.
Walking out of the film the second time after reading the book, I now feel like I underappreciate the film because I'm directly comparing it to the source material.
Interesting.
Watching the film in such close proximity to reading the book, I feel like it highlighted the strange decisions of Del Toro in the story
Yeah.
and what
yeah.
I consider to be weaknesses in his adaptation.
Yeah. I will say I think the changes serve the movie and Del Toro's vision better. You can't put this in the hands of a different director and have them kind of follow similar character development, story beats, blah, blah, blah. I think only Del Toro was capable of making the changes that he did that differ from the book and make it as successful as it is for the most part in this movie.
So if you'll allow me
No.
to air out my grievances, come on.
Yeah, of course.
First of all, I have to say, incredible talent in this movie.
Yeah.
From top to bottom,
Absolutely.
throughout.
Yep.
Absolutely incredible talent.
Yep,
The
yep.
film looks big, like Chase
Yeah.
said. It feels big. It's beautiful. Sometimes I would argue maybe too beautiful. It's phenomenally acted. I thought the set designs were incredibly cool.
Yeah.
A lot of praise I can throw on this film from a visual perspective.
Sure.
But comparing it to the novel, I felt like the novel is so emotionally rich.
It's far more complex a story. Yeah.
Yeah. And I felt like the movie was emotionally thin by comparison.
Yeah.
For example, jump in, Kolter.
No. I was just going to say that the book centers thematically much more on vengeance than this is, and you're right.
An obvious difference between the book and the movie is in the movie, Victor Frankenstein is the monster.
Right.
And Victor Frankenstein's monster is not a monster.
No, not at all.
So one of the biggest problems I had in the movie is this lack of emotional intensity. In the book, the monster is created, and Victor Frankenstein immediately runs in fear. When he
Yes.
sees that he's done it,
Yeah.
he is
Repulsed.
frightened,
Yeah.
and he runs. This, of course, leaves the monster by himself. He's isolated, and
Yeah.
he leaves the house that he was created in, and he wanders, and
Yeah.
he learns, and he feels frustrated by the fact that his maker has abandoned him.
Right.
And the story continues, and it builds, and it develops, and the monster ends up killing Victor Frankenstein's little brother, William.
Yes.
And although you disapprove of this act, you understand it, you deeply understand it. That is a heartfelt, emotionally powerful, and intense reason for Victor Frankenstein to hate this monster.
Sure.
On top of the fact that the monster frames his sister for this death, and so his sister is killed, and then he kills his best friend, and then so on and so on. In the film, he hates the monster because the monster isn't very smart.
Yeah, he doesn't display the intended intelligence that he wanted to achieve.
And I can understand why that would frustrate the hell out of a scientist, right? But I don't see how that could breed hatred to the degree that it's portrayed.
Well,
Like, why does Victor Frankenstein hate his
Yeah.
monster in this film? I can't wrap my head around it.
Well, the film skips right over the fact that's emphasized more heavily in the book. Victor was so focused and obsessed on doing this, he didn't give any thought to what the hell he's supposed to do after. If he's successful, then what? What do I do then? For a character who is allegedly this brilliant, I guess it's the mad scientist effect, of course, but for him to have given no thought to, well, what do I do if this works? What comes after that? If it's just completely glazed over.
And that
it's a
aspect,
theme.
Kolter,
Yeah.
that aspect, Kolter, I can buy. Like,
Sure.
oh shit, I did it. Now what do I
Yeah.
do? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I understand that. But, oh shit, I did it. He's a little dumb. I hate him. I want to kill him. That is what I fail to
Yeah.
grab onto.
Yeah.
Chase, I know you've read the book. You're very familiar with the book. Did you feel that same thing?
A lot of the motivations never felt fully fleshed out. And I think in the book you get more psychological insight, and I think that's the biggest flaw of the movie.
Another aspect is the original novel is so good at drawing you into the monster's emotions, his longing and need for companionship.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
so rich. It's very romantic in that sense. You feel for this monster, and you feel his reasons for
Yeah.
being so angry with Victor Frankenstein. And at a very emotional and deep level, you feel his resentment and his desire for revenge because he has been created and then abandoned with no hope for any happiness. You feel that so strong in the text, in the original novel by Mary Shelley. That is just lacking in the film for me.
Sure. Yeah, I mean,
to a degree that I can't just forgive.
Yeah. There's a way to do it. I mean, books obviously afford us the inner thoughts of its characters in ways that you can't always translate to the screen, right? Not without narration. You kind of risk the whole Blade Runner effect where you've got unnecessary narration that takes you out of, show don't tell. So it's, whereas movies are show don't tell, books don't have to worry about that. They can give you all of the internal thoughts that characters are having, which explains their motivation, their inspiration. There's still a way to do it. I think that could have been made clear in this, and it would have, I think, elevated this movie into something really special had they found a way to do that. But
despite my fear of sounding like I hated this movie, or even strongly disliked this movie, which I didn't. I liked this movie.
Yeah, same.
There are 3 little nitpicks I want to throw at you. Mia Goth playing 2 roles. She plays Elizabeth and Claire Frankenstein. Why do we do this?
I couldn't tell if that was her in the
understand.
beginning. I was confused. I thought Mia Goth was playing a different character when the movie first started. And then, when she shows up later, I was like, I didn't know. So it's good to hear that confirmed.
She played both characters. She played Victor Frankenstein's mother.
Okay.
And then she came back and played William Frankenstein's fiance,
Right.
Elizabeth.
Yeah.
And no one is like, oh my goodness, you look exactly like my mom. I don't know why we do this.
Yeah.
We could have easily brought in another actor
Yeah.
to play Claire Frankenstein. It's minor, but it's annoying.
Yeah. I am glad that they didn't make Elizabeth Victor's cousin in this. We all know how good for the gene pool it is to marry your cousin, so.
Dude, I married my cousin. My kids turned out okay. What are you talking about?
Okay.
Technically, she's my second cousin, but come on.
Yeah, whatever. Well, she's adopted in the book, right? She's not, so maybe that's how they get around that.
By the way, just kidding for all those who don't know me. I did not marry my cousin.
Living in Utah, you never know.
The other thing that I didn't love about the film is the rapid healing of the monster. Like,
I don't
he
know.
blows himself
It's
up
the
with
same
dynamite.
thing in
and he-
Pinocchio. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
never danger. There's no real danger.
It's a little Wolverine-ish.
Yeah.
This does not exist in the book, and it should not exist
I
in the
didn't
movie.
think it did, yeah. Lends an unnecessary superhero thing when I think people are kind of tired of that crap in general anyway. And it's a cheap workaround to... He should be intimidating and scary enough in profile and in nature, and to kind of throw on that he's basically a supervillain or he's got powers essentially kind of cheapens that effect.
The third thing I really don't like is his Superman strength. The way he's able to just
Yeah.
grab the ship and
It's the
just
same.
manhandle it.
Yeah.
Why? That's so unnecessary. And please don't take my negative comments to mean that I hate the movie.
Yeah. I still liked
Sometimes
it. Yeah.
a movie that just misses greatness is more frustrating than a movie that sucks.
Oh, yeah,
And that's
for
how I
sure.
felt with this film.
Yeah.
Absolutely loved the film. It's just, if we could have cleaned up a little bit of the silliness and added more emotional intensity and character depth, this could have been a 5-star film.
Yeah.
There's a ton of praise that I could heap on this film.
Yeah. Sure.
And I think we should do that right now.
Okay.
But these couple of things, when compared to the book, they're significant weaknesses, and that makes me sad.
Yeah.
What about Jacob Elordi? Did you like him as the monster?
That's interesting.
I thought he looked way too pretty.
Well, I think that's a popular complaint out there, right? He's too handsome. He's too, strangely enough, when I first saw him, especially early in the movie when he's basically just wearing a cloth around his wing dang, and that's it. He's wearing adult diapers. I thought he looks uncannily like the engineers from Prometheus.
Yeah, I
had
thought
the
that
same thought.
thing.
Yep,
yeah.
I had the same thought.
And the story of Prometheus is sort of a theme, and it's like, was that intentional? What is this weird art imitates life, imitates art, imitates movies, imitates what's going on?
Imitates Jesus.
Imitates Jesus. Oh, that's the perfect wrap up for that statement. God damn it! I wish I thought of that myself. So obviously, an actor's natural looks like, okay, yes, he's a good looking guy, kind eyes. Sorry, so that kind of lends itself well to this. His potential for kindness, his potential for good, his desire to no longer be lonely, to have a companion, the sense of abandonment. It helps the audience kind of connect to the character as something not a something, but a someone, as he states in the movie. Yeah, it's an odd choice. It's a bold choice. I mean, I think it's better than, although I liked the way that De Niro looked in that version of Frankenstein. There was just something odd about whenever he talked. He was like, yeah, I'm a Frankenstein monster, and yeah, we're gonna have problems over here if you don't do that. People have taken a lot of liberties creatively with the look of the creature, Frankenstein's creature, for decades. So yeah, Chase, I don't disagree with you, man. I think there was something innocent about the choice, and I could see why that actor and why that look. I think he pulls off both kindness and the longing for companionship, but also can be scary as hell in certain moments. There's a couple of cool, clever lighting things here and there where the light will catch one of his eyes and it kind of reflects like an animal's eye, like a wolf's eye.
Red. Really cool.
Yeah.
Really, really cool.
Yeah, I think that works. And obviously he's physically domineering. He's like 6'4", 6'5". He's a big dude. Jordan, what did you...
So I actually really liked him, and I liked him better the second time. It's important to know that originally Andrew Garfield was going to play the monster, and Del Toro spent 9 months creating the design of the monster.
Okay.
Andrew Garfield left the project, Jacob Elordi signed on, and he had 9 weeks to recreate the design of the monster.
That's not
When I
much.
first saw the film, I was like, this is an interesting choice.
Yeah.
But after familiarizing myself with the original novel and then returning to Del Toro's adaptation, I thought it really worked. I think that he fits the style, the emotional design of the monster as Del Toro is trying to portray. So I really liked him. And I thought his creation, when Victor Frankenstein is creating the monster, man, that was really, really cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Some of it I had to turn away from. It was gruesome, but some of that was
It
really
looked like
cool.
he was sawing through a real leg at one point. I was like, good God, what are they doing here? I mean, these effects are
Really cool, I know.
they're
And you wouldn't expect any less from Del Toro.
No.
Absolutely loved the creation of the monster in the film. Really cool.
Yeah. And I also like the early stages when we're getting to know the creature a little bit, and he's chained up in that really cool looking kind of vaulted underground lair, for lack of a better term. I think Elordi played his innocence, his confusion, his trying to make sense of his surroundings and the world around him really well, kind of childlike, but in a believable way. And when he's kind of placing the leaves in the drainage stream and kind of watching him go, there was something you couldn't help but feel awful for this thing. And of course, completely warrants his hatred. And it's not pure hatred, right? I think he has a hate-love relationship with Victor as his kind of father figure, this creator. But I thought he played that pretty well.
Yeah, I thought he played it good. I couldn't get over his look the whole time, though.
Didn't like it.
No. And his proportions are like so perfect. You can't hide how beautiful the guy looks.
Yeah.
I think that the monster is too perfect, but I also think that the visual aesthetics of the film are also too perfect in places.
Yeah.
Even when nothing's going on, they've got these massive crane shots, just normal dialogue scenes, and it'll just circle around them. It just feels like too much.
It is big. I mean, sometimes some of these scenes are really beautiful and they work, but sometimes it just feels too beautiful. Sometimes I think that Del Toro's use of CGI is a little too much. Have you guys ever seen his film Crimson Peak?
No, I don't think so.
I haven't.
So Crimson Peak is very much this like over CGI, super clean, pristine, beautiful film. You know the shots of the Angel of Death in Frankenstein?
Yeah.
Crimson Peak is like that times 10. Like
Okay.
most of the film is that Angel of Death look, and that just doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
So I would like to see a little more, I guess, dirtier version of this film. So I hear what you're saying, Chase, but I do think Jacob Elordi played it well, and I liked his design, again, more so in the second viewing.
Yeah. I don't think that Del Toro is a raging fan of CGI. I think he prefers to do things practically when he can. It's just, we're in the day and age now where it's like, you can't create a building-sized monster without using CGI. I mean, you could, but it would be so and less done. I mean, I still think there are artists out there that could do it in a way that it looks great. I mean, we just talked about this, but if you can go back and watch Ghostbusters and believe that there's a 100-foot marshmallow man walking down Manhattan, there's nothing particularly off about that shot that looks like it's not real. I mean, that's, 40, 50 years ago at this point, or coming up on it. You can do that. Then you can do something like that now. I know there's no direct comparison to some of the effects in this movie, but I don't know. The stuff that was most impactful to me there is that shot when they're in the Arctic and the creature's just off in a distance on the horizon. The sun's either coming up or setting. And I'm like, shit, that looks awesome. Like sometimes simple,
it does. It
like
really
the simplicity of, composition in its natural state and its natural beauty is just as impactful, if not more so, than just having there's a great sets. And I would argue that some of the set design is almost too busy. You've got a pile of body parts behind Victor and all this, mechanical and scientific apparatus
Really cool.
all around him. And it's cool. And it's kind of a visual representation of the madness in his mind that it's just chaos around him. But there are times when it's like, shit, it's too busy. There's too much of a good thing. Sometimes I think just that simple shot of the creature far off in the distance, standing on a frozen wasteland, is like, oh man, that's cool.
That was really cool. Let me ask this. Is there any scene or part of this film that you'd like to highlight we haven't talked about yet?
I like the part where Harlander's taking a piss and he's commenting about how lovely the sound of the stream is in French porcelain. I was like, and then you get to hear it a little bit in the distance. It's like, I want to piss in some French porcelain now. I want to have that experience.
Dude, my favorite part of that scene is when he walks away and says to Victor, hey, will you flush that for me?
Yeah. Yeah, a little power
From now
move
on,
there.
if I ever go into a bathroom and there's someone else there,
Hey,
I'm going to walk out and say, hey, will you flush that for me?
I just took a meatloaf of a deuce in stall number 3. Can you take care of that? I'm in a hurry.
Dude, talk about a power play.
Yeah, that's a power move. Yeah.
Chase, you have a scene that sticks out to you?
I think it's the part where the monster walks out on the horizon and you just kind of sit with that. Yeah. Just so beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, guys, I just got a notification on my phone that Beans and Brews Coffee House is running a special deal on their turkey chipotle bagel. I get an additional 10 points. So I'm going to go grab that. Let's go ahead and rate Frankenstein on a scale of 1 to 5. What do you guys give it?
What a transition.
I'm going to go 3.5. This is one I do want to rewatch. I think there's a lot to appreciate here. There's a lot that I want to come back to. I'd almost like to reread the book and come back to it. Because I think Del Toro's love for the story really comes through here.
Yeah.
And his spin on it is unique enough that you can see his subjective perspective of the story, but it still stays true to the original.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm going to land 3.5 stars on this movie.
I love how much Guillermo loves movies. I think when people like him leave this earth, people like Tim Burton leave this earth, there's going to be a kind of a void of creativity, I think. I hope that's not the case, but his love for film, I think, shines through in all of his projects. This is no exception. I thought Oscar Isaac did great as Victor. He was passionate, he was mad, and he was, you were kind of with him. You wanted to see him achieve his goals, even as you kind of got to know him. And he's like, yeah, this guy's kind of a bastard. You still were kind of with him until a certain point, until things turns. And I really like how Del Toro brings these stories to life, and it was a decent enough iteration of the movie for me that I think it was well cast. I could have done with a little bit more Elizabeth Mia Goth's character. I think she was a little bit underused in this, even in playing 2 roles. But overall, I really, really enjoyed it. I was really immersed in the world and really caught up in what was going on and moved enough by the characters and what happened. And cheesy as it may be with the superpowers, I like that it ends on a more kind of hopeful note for the creature. In the book, he basically says, I'm going to go kill myself now, and that's it. He jumps into the water. You never see him again. So I like that there's just a little bit, this particular version of Frankenstein is a lot more redemptive than the other versions we've seen. And I think it was in capable enough hands that it worked for the most part. So I liked it. I had a good time, but I'm going to land at a 4.
Guys, there's a lot in this film to like. Like I said from the beginning, talent, top to bottom, beginning to end, a ton to appreciate here. I feel like the monster looks like Mary Shelley's creation, but it definitely feels like Del Toro. The monster is part saint, and he's part stray dog. I'm also going to land at 3.5. I feel like with a couple minor changes, this movie really could have been a masterpiece. It falls short of that, but it is absolutely worth your time and attention. Please let us know what you think of Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein.
Yeah.
So forgive me, my recommendation this week may feel a little obvious, but I gotta do it. I'm recommending Shape of Water from 2017, directed by Guillermo del Toro, starring Sally Hawkins and Michael Shannon. But I'm not recommending you watch this film once. I'm recommending that you watch this film twice, because that's what it takes to fully grasp what's going on in this adult fairy tale and really appreciate it. I love this movie. Kolter, I think you'll like it better on a second viewing as well. Thank you for listening to Faster Film Critic, and please join us next time when we talk Begonia, directed by Yorgos Lanthimos. You can also follow us on Letterboxd, Cinetrek, and Instagram. Email us at fasterfilmcritic@gmail.com. Hit us up with questions, comments, feedback, and review requests, and share this episode with your movie-loving friends.